At Coach Eastern Illinois coach Adam Cushing, the Panthers slated to play UT Martin this weekend. Coach, just some general thoughts on getting into this spring 2021 season.
Incredibly excited that it's game week. That's first and foremost. I think the excitement from our players is just fantastic to see. I'm so happy for them to everything that they've done, everything that they've earned between whatever March 2020 and now to be in this position, and just to see the looks on their faces as we've transitioned to some of that game plan stuff, and just kind of feel the anticipation in the air. It's really, really fun for our guys. I think that they're all ready to step out there on the field and compete and give their best. I think, it's obviously going to be a wonderful spring season. I know it's, quote unquote unusual. Everybody keeps saying unusual, but in the end, as soon as they put the ball up at the air and at 105 in Martin, Tennessee on Sunday, I think it's just going to be football for everybody. And we're all just excited for that opportunity.
Thanks, Coach. We'll go in some questions. And Dan, if you want to go ahead and start us off.
Okay. Well, Coach, we were talking about the weather, before we started here. How's that impacted practice this week?
Yeah, we've been able to do some things outside and some things inside. We're fortunate to have a space where we can get some things accomplished inside. And then just, making sure that we're being smart. Obviously, throughout preseason camp, we've done lots of practicing. So we've got to understand that this truly is the marathon and not the sprint here. And even though we're kind of at the quote unquote finish line for the first game, we still have to be smart about it. So we're going outside, but we're just going outside in controlled chunks to make sure that we keep them, we keep them warm, that we don't put any soft tissue injuries because guys' muscles, get cold, et cetera. So a little bit of an effect, and our guys are just doing is I think COVID taught us throughout 2020 that they know how to adjust better than than probably you or I ever did throughout high school or college career here. So they're doing a great job of adapting to it.
I was looking over the two deep that came out yesterday, and I think on defense, I saw 5 freshmen and a couple sophomores. So obviously very young. I guess just share your thoughts on that.
Certainly, you always want to see some experience out there on the field, but I think we're just incredibly pleased with our group of newcomers this year, with those young guys that showed up. And I've been saying it to you for the last almost year now, 10 11 months. Just our mantra is, what does this make possible? And I think just the fact that we had fall ball with this group of freshmen, this isn't the same as an August, first game at the end of August or early September. These guys have been in the system. When we had the COVID break, we installed one time in April. Then we installed the offense in July when guys came on campus. Then we installed it again in August when we started preseason camp. Then we installed it again in October when we started fall ball. And then we installed it again in December to keep it fresh in their minds for when we installed it again in January. So they've heard it so many times and kind of stepped through it so many times that they're still, again, I said, they put that ball up in the air and it's still going to be the first time they've ever played college football. That's a real thing. But we feel that they're much farther along than any freshman's ever been.
Do you feel like they're farther along mentally, but maybe not necessarily physically, or do you think it's even?
Certainly, yeah. Mentally, I think is and that's always one of the issues is just the ability when you've got young guys playing is, do they get the whole system and enough to have the flexibility to get out there and play? And right when you get into a game, adjustments, especially when we're talking defense, formation changes, new formations that they haven't seen before, those things get thrown at them and they got to mentally process so much that maybe it's just, again, without 6 months of experience of seeing it over and over and over again, changes it physically. I think we've done a really, really good job of getting them bigger, faster, and stronger, but they're still not going to be the same as a 22-year-old that's out there on the field they're competing against. But I think if we have the ability that they can go out mentally and trust themselves, then they can allow their physical abilities to take over.
I got one more, and then I want to give the other guys an opportunity. Looking at your two deep, I noticed, two big contributors from last year, Bryce Dewberry and Ditarius Johnson, were not on there. Injuries or something else?
Yeah, those guys aren't going to be able to play in the first one, and we'll hopefully see as it goes along here how it plays out.
Appreciate that.
I want to see if there's other. Matthew, do you have any questions? I think you're on mute.
Yeah, I'm on mute. Okay. Yeah, thank you. I imagine as a student now of EIU history, you know that the last time that the team was 1-11, the next year was an amazing story of amazing success of the championship. I know that's probably unrealistic for a 1-year jump, but what are your sort of goals wise, and how do you feel like they're meeting that?
Why is it unrealistic?
Well, sure. Okay, let's go for it. Yeah.
No, obviously the goal is to go out and do exactly that, right? Anything less would be setting the bar too low. But I think what the biggest jump that we've made is as a program is the true understanding of focusing on the process and not the end result, right? Is that we've in now 2 calendar years been able to get that mentality instilled in them that truly what we're looking for on a day-to-day basis and on a game-to-game basis, play-to-play basis, however you want to look at it, is just we use the words your best, their best. That's what we want. And if we get their very best on a consistent basis, then those outcomes take care of itself. And so the goal, I'm not big on saying we got to win this many games or we're going to have this many, it's the goal was to shift the mindset from the outcome mentality to the process mentality. And I think that's where we've seen an enormous jump in the program. And that's why we'll see an enormous jump in the outcomes.
Well, let's talk about the offense a little bit. We got to talk to Harry, I guess maybe a month ago. I can't remember when media day was already, but he was, and I think you talked about, gaining more experience in your system. How has that continued to develop?
Really, really well. I think that, just something I just mentioned to Dan is we've just been able to do it so many times that the guys have such a better understanding. And again, kind of goes back to what I just mentioned about the process. They really have a great understanding of the process of what it takes to really not only understand the scheme, but then how to study the video, how to improve on their own, right? We're allowed 20 hours a week with them. It's the only contact we're allowed with them in a week. And quite honestly, I say that you're going to have to figure out what your process has to be for your ability to give your best, right? And sometimes that means that you got to study some of that video on your own, but without a great understanding of the scheme, you may not know that added time might not do anything for you. If you just don't get all the ins and outs. So those are the little details that just pile up with the more experience and the more, the more time we've all been around one another in the program.
One of the, definitely one of the areas of experience is your receiving core. Tell me how that's looking, especially with, I think Isaiah was a pre-OVC, conference player. Tell me about that.
Yeah, Isaiah's had another great camp for us. Really excited about what he brings to the offense. As we watched last year, truly dynamic with the ball in his hands, true top end speed is unbelievable. I think, it's the way that he works and again, just why he's such a perfect example of our program is I just talked about that process. He's that way every day in practice. He practices hard. He prepares himself all the time. He's always a guy that's out doing little things on his own, right? Not trying to be seen by coaches, but trying to bring players along with him to be better at all times. And so he truly embraces the process. You got a really talented group with him at the receiving core, as you said, the guy Matt Reyna that missed the season for us last year, but we expect to be able to contribute for us this year. Robbie Lofton on the outside. We got he quote unquote newcomer. He wasn't on the roster in 2019, but Matt Judd that we expect. Some Dylan Hughes started games for us back in 2019. And so those guys, I think we really are going to see some really productive things from. Dwayne Cooks had an unbelievable fall camp. I mean, it's truly Tyler Hamilton. I've just got so many names, and it's awesome to have that flexibility, because then we can, we talk about on offense, players, formations, plays. We can really put our guys, when you have that much depth, you can put your guys in the best place to succeed for them. Right. And so you can kind of take some of the load off of other guys in other places and truly distribute the ball around with so many guys having done so well this camp.
Thank you.
We're still waiting on our next coach. So if anybody else has a question for Coach Cushing, we got time for one or two more. I'm going to end with this, Coach, then. And some of the other coaches got this. It's got to be hard to scout anybody because they didn't play in the fall, because it's just been so long. There's no film. So how do you go into scouting opponents early in the season with no accurate updated game film?
Certainly we have on them what they've got on us, 2019 video. And so we're using that as the skeleton of what we believe they're going to do. There's going to be within that framework somehow, some way on both sides of the ball. But the bottom line is the teams that win openers are the ones most prepared to adjust, because no matter what we watch on video, there's going to be something different. It's not going to be exactly what we watch. And so our ability to really have that really firm set of rules that we install, and that they can just go play within that set of rules. And no matter what, if we've done our job as coaches and exposed them to enough different things and have a very simple set of rules that accomplishes, or that encompasses all those things, then we'll be able to go play fast. And so that's kind of the theme. Just prepare to adjust. I promise with 100% certainty, on the first third down of the game, whether it's offense or defense, they're going to do something that we haven't seen before. And that's okay. Just go out and play football, and trust all the hard work we've put in is going to get us to where we need to be.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you taking the time to join us this morning. Best of luck this week, and then we'll talk to you again next week.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Adam.